rollovers.
He's flipped, he's lost it.
Spills.
It could pick up on the oil, run away with itself and blow itself to pieces.
Jackknives.
Police officer on scene has advised it's the lorry on its side.
When a 40-ton truck crashes,
Keep your eye on that traffic, don't get too close to them cones.
it causes chaos on our roads.
Mayhem, absolute mayhem.
And moving these monsters
Through to the left a bit.
takes a special kind of recovery worker.
Nobody wants to be here today, do they? Except me. I love my job.
Driving some of the most super heavyweight trucks in the world.
It's got so much power, it will just cruise along.
But helping to keep Britain's 300,000 strong trucking workforce safe.
We know the dangers of doing the job, but we all still get on and do it. We just try to make it as safe as we possibly can.
Is not a job for the faint-hearted.
You never know what you're going to get when the phone rings. Could be absolutely anything.
These are proper boys' toys.
Beast of a machine. Absolute beast.
Amongst the most sophisticated machines in the UK, battling to keep our roads open.
We're after Bristol to close the road as such.
Against the odds.
No one's done it to be easy.
Crouch Recovery is one of the biggest family-run roadside recovery firms in the UK.
Just wants to know where he is.
Set up just over 70 years ago, its 35-strong team of recovery ops come to the rescue of over 30,000 heavy goods vehicles a year,
Right, up again.
helping to keep Britain on the move 24/7.
There's always some poor bugger in the mess.
The company's fleet of heavy-duty trucks, armed with mechanical muscle, are equipped to recover any vehicle from anywhere at any time. For these guys, size doesn't matter.
Recovery operatives will get the job done no matter what.
Really lovely.
Today, the UK is waking up to a blast of freezing cold weather. A polar vortex from Russia, nicknamed the Beast from the East, has seen temperatures across the country plummet to lows not seen in a decade, leaving the country's 300,000 strong trucking workforce in grave danger. But whilst the nation freezes, recovery op Jim Howard is keeping his cool.
No 2 days are ever the same.
Ex-soldier Jim has been a recovery op for almost 2 decades. He's covered enough miles to drive around the earth 50 times.
Every day's different. Every day's a school day, as we say. You never know what you're going to. You're literally thinking about everything. Anything and everything that could possibly go wrong does pass through your mind.
Out on the road, the temperatures are well below zero.
What is actually wrong with your truck?
And back at HQ, the phones are in meltdown.
Hi, what's your race, please?
Yesterday, we had over 380 to 400 jobs in a 24-hour period. That's 3 times as much jobs that we do here, and today I think it's going to be a lot busier.
Who's the nearest agent? I'll look at the nearest agent. Our business is reactive, so everyone wants it straight away. Nothing's pre-booked, and I'm trying to make it happen and keep everybody happy. So all the calls that come in, we're plate spinning, really, to get them all covered.
It's not long before Jim receives the call of duty.
Incoming call from office.
And the job's a whopper. A 44-ton HGV is overturned on the A1, swept off the carriageway by high-speed gusts of icy wind.
High winds, cold weather, people die. You know, simple as that. It can be absolutely as bad as you can imagine it, honestly. The first thoughts that go through my mind is, am I going to get hurt?
The heavy-duty wreckage needs a specialist recovery vehicle. And today, Jim's in good company. He's behind the wheel of a mammoth 24-ton Volvo FMX Pioneer, capable of towing 60 tons.
We've got pretty much everything. If we can't do it with what we've got, pretty much can't be done.
Jim's under pressure to get to the scene fast. With the wreckage lying dangerously close to rush hour traffic, other road users are facing treacherous driving conditions. And the risk of there being another accident is high.
It's risky, quite simply, because we're working at the side of the road, sometimes on hard shoulders, sometimes on blind bends. The traffic rarely slows down for you, or sometimes they don't see you to the last minute. Bad weather lowers the visibility. A lot of people don't know how to drive in the snow, so it just gets more tricky out there. When things go wrong, people don't go home.
20 minutes later, Jim arrives at the scene.
Oh, let's go and have a look and see what it's all about then, shall we?
The force of the crash has thrown the 8-ton cab over 10 metres away from its trailer.
Jesus.
And the driver has been rescued by the emergency services.
He's been taken away in the hospital. We do know it's not life-altering, so he's probably just rattled, bruised, maybe a broken bone or two, but nothing major.
Stretching over 400 miles connecting London with Edinburgh, the A1 is one of the UK's busiest arterial roads. And now, Highways England has closed down one lane of the dual carriageway to allow room for the recovery. If the wreckage isn't cleared up quickly, it could cause massive delays and havoc for the local economy.
Road closures in England can be a very, very expensive business. If we close a 3-lane motorway in just one direction for an hour, that costs the economy about £1 million. Fast forward that to 3 hours, that number jumps to around £5 million.
With nearly 20 tonnes of metal to shift, Jim can't do this job alone.
I've just come back from Egypt on early hours Sunday morning, so it's been 30 degrees and then we come back to snow, so yeah, a bit of a shock to the system.
Joining him on this mission is trucking legend Ian Ashby, known to his mates as Fluff. With almost a quarter of a century in the business, Fluff has recovered almost 20,000 heavy-duty trucks and clocked well over 1 million miles.
My nickname, Fluff, I've had that for many years. One of the lads come in one day and my hair was getting a little bit longer and he just sort of went like this on the top of my head, oh, Fluffy, and it's stayed ever since.
But he couldn't do the job without his trusted 30-ton Volvo FMX Pioneer heavy recovery vehicle. Its mechanical muscle is capable of lifting 45 tonnes.
Just sat down to breakfast. Just put my knife and fork in the first sausage. Did you finish it? Nope. Hold on. No, I've got a fork from the cafe though. Loaded it up with bacon and sausages as I come out the door.
Fluff and I have worked together many times. He's an absolute scream. He fights through, finishes the job, always does, never been any different. Yeah, Fluff's a good bloke to work with, really good bloke. Yeah, we drink together, so yeah, we're good friends.
It's rather cold, this, isn't it? It's the beast from the east. I believe that was a lady called Maureen from Hull.
With rush hour traffic building up by the second, Fluff and Jim need to work fast.
The importance is to get the vehicle moved as quick as possible and as safely as possible, you know, to get the road open and so everybody can carry on with their day as normal without sitting in traffic jams.
But there's another problem. As well as the heavy traffic, wind speeds are approaching gale force.
It's very cold, very blustery, very, very windy. It's gusting massively.
The crew's machinery should be able to get the trailer upright, but heavy winds could flip it back on its side at any time, turning the wreckage into a potential death trap. Coming up, as calls for emergency roadside assistance reach fever pitch, Jim and Fluff battle the elements.
Well, then comes the drift. It'll cut through you like a chainsaw.
Fellow recovery op Rory gets a prickly reception.
Hardest part of this job, make sure you don't get thorns through your tanja.
And Boss Adam is called to the front line.
It's been horrendous, really. We've not perhaps seen anything like this for a good 5 years.
The UK has been hit by one of the worst cases of cold weather since records began, causing havoc and chaos across the country. At Crouch Recovery, its heavy rescue team is facing the toughest day in its 70-year history. And with its fleet of monster rescue trucks, these bad boys are being tested to the max. On the A1 in Lincolnshire, recovery ops Jim and Fluff are on the scene of an overturned HGV. Highways England has shut part of the dual carriageway to allow them to recover the wreckage.
They're happy for us to proceed. For the simple fact we can do most of it without closing the road. As it stands at the minute, we're gonna crack on and do it where she is.
But the pressure is on to get the lane reopened to prevent the local road infrastructure disintegrating into chaos. Before they can start work, the crew need to recce the damage. But getting to the HGV isn't going to be easy. On another day, these would be perfect conditions for snow angels. But there's no time for that now.
It's about 5 foot deep.
With years in the business, it's not the first time Jim has seen an accident like this one.
It's an empty trailer, so we're going to have a guess that the winds have whipped in across the top. The caught hold him in the side, give him a wiggle, he's flipped, he's lost it, he's come in the carriageway, he's spun, torn its in half. They haven't asked the police what's happened, but I'd guess that that's what's something along them lines. But, we're more about getting them out than how they get in. So, right, I'm going to get on with it now. And I'm not going back out that way.
First up, Jim and Fluff need to get the 7-ton trailer upright. Jim reckons his 50-metre winch cable should do the trick.
Just doing the basic rigging. I'm going to put a load to hard pull, get a grip of the trailer, we'll twist it back up.
But working just metres away from high-speed traffic, Jim and Fluff are in constant danger.
Just keep your eye on that traffic, don't go too close to them cones.
Every single recovery comes with its own dangers. Even recoveries on the hard shoulders. You know, we've had instances where recovery agents have been killed or seriously injured. They have been working comfortably on the hard shoulder. They've had a safety bubble around them, and then somebody has just actually come straight through the cones and hit the rearmost vehicle.
Fuck!
Jim throws his winch hook over to one end of the trailer,
So glamorous!
while Fluff attaches a second hook to the other end.
You'll take yourself back down there, keep your eye this way. Don't want you in the cable zone if something goes wrong.
These steel wire ropes are capable of pulling 13 tons. But working with heavy vehicles is a dangerous business, and there's always a chance something could go wrong.
Well, then comes the drift. It'll cut through you like a chainsaw.
If they're going to brake, it'll whip through you. It can kill you on the bigger wagons, so just got to be aware and be careful.
Back at base, the phones are ringing off the hook.
Bear with me a second. Coping with this level of work is a new thing for all of us. Everybody's put 2 phones to the ris and, yeah, just working as a team.
In Leicestershire, a Renault Clio has veered off a country road.
Mayhem, absolute mayhem. Who's closest? It's Rory down now.
Recovery op Rory Wilcox is the closest man to the scene.
If the wheels ain't turning, we ain't earning.
With just 5 years in the business, ex-farmer Rory is still a recovery rookie. But having clocked almost 30,000 miles on Britain's roads, Rory reckons he's seen it all.
I was doing 30 mile an hour past Heathrow. And a guy come past me in a Vauxhall Astra. And he got his head back like that, and he was looking in the mirror. And he got a pair of full-size kitchen scissors, and he got them up his nose, trimming his nose hair. Just incredible. Can you imagine explaining that? Not that he'd survive it anyway, but like the inquest. Oh yeah. Pierced his brain with a pair of full-size kitchen scissors while driving. You'd have to rule that was... Well, it wouldn't be death by misadventure, would it? It'd be death by raving stupidity. I had another one come past me, and he was cooking a pan of sausages. He got like a board thing up here with his little blue gas cooker on, with a pan of sausages on. Takes all sorts, I suppose. I mean, I like a sausage myself, but I've never been that desperate.
Rory thinks he's on his way to a routine job.
It's my fart prevention device. Saves the customers throwing up when they have to travel with me.
But his day is just about to get a whole lot more interesting.
Incoming call from office.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Scrap that job a minute.
Right.
I've got another one instead.
OK, look, cheers then. Ta-ra. Just like that, it's all changed.
Rory must get to the overturned Renault Clio fast.
Crack it up. We're on the case.
The car is on its roof in a ditch, and just one more snow dump could bury it all together.
The call comes in. we've got to roll. It's a bit like being in an emergency service, not being in a fire engine. You've got to be ready to go. You've got to get there quick as you can, get the situation assessed and get the road clear. Now, I went through a phase a couple of years ago where every time I ran a bath, and I'd just got my clothes off, just get in the bath, and the phone would ring and it was a job. It's a bloody nightmare.
It's not long before Rory sets his eyes on the wreckage. The small car is wedged in a thorny hedge. But for Rory, every cloud has a silver lining.
It's no good for the general public, but it's a chance to make a bit of money on this job, you know. I've had a decent bit of overtime this weekend for a change.
The driver had a lucky escape, clambering from his vehicle with just cuts and bruises. He's left the scene, but now it's up to Rory to get the Renault Clio back onto four wheels and out of the ditch. And Rory's truck today is just what the doctor ordered. A 10-metre-long Iveco Euro cargo accident unit, more than capable of lifting a 1-ton car.
Sometime late last night, early hours of the morning, this chap's obviously coming from Northampton, lost it on a bit of a bend, come through the edge, and ended up on his roof in this, I don't know what you call it really, hedge, ditch.
Rory will need to attach chains to all four wheels of the car and lift it out of the ditch before flipping it upright and moving it onto his truck.
It's not very comfortable to work with all these thorns.
He's put cones along the road, warning of his presence to other motorists. But at this stage, he's not had to close the road. Still, the quicker he can get the job done, the better.
Weather conditions ain't the best. The road's still slippy and we're working off the side of the road. So the first thing you've got to do is make sure that you're safe. So we're being aware of the traffic that's coming past us, particularly with being on that little bit of a bend. So we've got some cones out, just giving the traffic a bit of a warning that we're there doing something. To be honest with you, what I'm thinking about most of the time is not messing up, because it's easy to damage something more than it's already damaged.
It should be a straightforward recovery, but no job is without its perils.
The hardest part of this job is fighting your way through that hedge and making sure you don't get thorns through your tadger. The biggest problem with that job was fighting your way through the hawthorn bushes. They're horrible bloody things. So, yeah, good job I got my nice thick overalls on. No one said it'd be easy, did they?
Back at HQ, all of the company's drivers are out on the roads, rescuing snow-stricken vehicles.
Just do that, because no wonder where we are.
And no one is feeling the strain, quite like company boss Adam.
Snow means absolute bedlam. This is what snow means. Simple as that. You can't really pick the phones up quick enough, to be quite honest.
Gaffer Adam has been involved in the family business since he was a little kid.
The firm started in 1948. It was started by my grandfather. We actually started with an old ex-wartime Jeep, so that was kind of the first recovery vehicle. And then Land Rovers and things like that were the mainstay. That was what the fleet was back in those days. And then my dad joined the business. I think it really sort of ramped up then because he was just as committed, and then we went forward from there.
For Adam, the reputation of his grandfather's firm means everything.
When I get out of my car in the morning, sometimes I take a bit of a deep breath. Because, you know, when you go in, you're sort of going into a bit of a war zone some mornings. But, again, that's what we do.
So when another desperate call comes in, it's time for the boss to get his hands dirty. A local county council's gritter has crashed into a snowy hedge. With the country knee-deep in snow in places, the team needs to get the gritter back on its wheels fast. To assist the boss on his mission is the queen of the fleet, a Scania R-Series rotator, capable of lifting 75 tons. But it's Adam's personalised artwork, an ode to his family history, that makes this truck stand out. With his team on the job, Adam assesses the situation.
It's been off the road since 4 o'clock this morning. Driver's OK, which is the main thing. This guy was clearly on his first trip out. So it's fully freighted with salt, rock salt. The authorities are screaming for the road back. Obviously, at this moment in time, they're absolutely desperate to keep gritters on the road, so this was the last thing they needed, you know. So we really want to reopen the road as quick as we possibly can, whilst maintaining the duty of care towards the vehicle.
To have any chance of getting it back on the road, Adam and his crew have to avoid causing further damage to the gritter.
Right, Ben, come round here, just lift it.
So the process at the moment is just digging to get the straps in so we can then lift back onto its wheels.
To pull the 26-ton gritter upright, the crew needs to feed straps underneath it. But with temperatures hitting -2 degrees, frozen ground is making digging around it much harder. And time is running out.
It's been horrendous, really. We're constantly working at a backlog, working 2 hours beyond. It's really tested our resources. We've not perhaps seen anything like this for a good 5 years, and I think it's significantly worse than what it was. It's more nationwide spread.
Back on the A1, Jim and Fluff are battling high-speed winds to recover the wreckage of an overturned HGV. Having attached cables to the empty trailer, the team is now ready to pull it back onto its wheels. Jim cranks up the winch. Mission accomplished. But Jim is worried.
Right, it's because of the wind. Look at the side of the trailer, it's acting like a curtain. The winds pick up. If we get a good strong gust, it could follow through, land on the other wrecker. So that's the risk.
Strong winds are always a challenge for HGVs because quite often they're almost like a mobile parachute, so the side wind can have an effect. You then couple that with slippery road conditions. They are quite a lethal combination. Certainly in the time that I've been with Highways in England in the last 14 years, I've never experienced the challenges of the severe weather that we had this year.
The empty trailer is upright, but it's a ticking time bomb. Just one strong gust of wind could blow it over and into one of the trucks, or worse still, into rush hour traffic. The team needs to tie it down quickly before disaster strikes.
Right, I'm going to pop round it. I'm going to get hold of the back end. I'm going to nail the back end of it down. Yeah, we don't want to be hanging about, do we?
Jim has to stabilise the back end of the trailer. So he moves his truck around to anchor it down using his vehicle's winch. Fluff has to get under the trailer to hook in a winch cable.
So what we're going to do is we're going to nail the back end of it down with my wagon. Just to give Fluff a chance of pulling it without being prob.
I've actually been out to trailers in the high winds, put them back on their wheels and put all my kit away and they've blown back over again. There's not a lot of weight in them to stop that from happening sometimes if the winds are really strong.
The winch cable stabilises the truck just in the nick of time.
There she is. Happy with that.
The winds were whipping in across that field at 60 mile an hour-ish. So it was an empty curtain cider. The curtains, effectively, they start to act as a sail. So if the wind comes back through, once you've got a grip of it, catches it, flips it on the side, follows it through. So it is important that once you've got hold of it to get it nailed down as quickly as you can, really.
With the trailer anchored down, Fluff attaches his tow bar, a piece of kit known in the business as an underlift. This means the trailer is now secured safely to his truck and is ready to be towed. But there's a problem. The trailer's brakes are jammed. Luckily, the crew has come well armed.
Red line.
Jim pumps air through an airline to release the brakes.
Red line releases the brakes. So that'll allow the brakes to come off the trailer so we can move the trailer. Perfect.
With the brakes released, the trailer is ready to go.
Watch your back.
After an hour on site, Fluff tows the vehicle to a safe location further down the hard shoulder.
Whilst all that's happening, I'll be sweeping around him to get alongside the tractor unit.
But the job is far from over. Jim now has to remove the wreckage of the 8-ton cab from the ditch before the lane can be reopened.
Hopefully, if the driver's left me the keys, I'll put it onto a rear lift. So we'll sort it all out from there.
But if the driver's keys are missing, Jim won't be able to straighten the cab's wheels to move it, which means this job could get a whole lot worse. Coming up, Rory picks a fight with a hedge.
Absolutely bloody useless.
Boss Adam gets a grip on the gritter.
We've restrained it, we've stood it up. We can't put it down because it'll flip back over again.
And Jim recovers more than he bargained for.
Oh, fantastic.
The beast from the east has sent temperatures plummeting across the country. With their fleet of massive trucks and logistical experience,
categorically needs to be done 5 minutes or so.
Crouch Recovery is working against the clock to help keep Britain's frozen roads moving.
Incoming call from office.
A 44-ton HGV has overturned on the A1.
It's rather cold, this, isn't it? Just a little bit.
Forced off the carriageway by fierce winds brought on by the icy weather.
High winds, cold weather, people dying. Very, very windy. It's gusting massively.
Jim and Fluff are working on the edge of one of Britain's busiest arterial roads.
Watch your back.
With traffic speeding past, they've already managed to tow the trailer to safety. But the 8-ton cab is firmly wedged into an icy ditch. And the team need to move fast so the lane can be reopened. The next step for Jim and Fluff is to attach cables to the cab's axles.
HGVs, they're a lot bigger, a lot heavier, so it's got to be a little bit more careful than with a car. Obviously a car, you pick it up, you put it on the back of a slide bed and away you go. You know, get it out with my Land Rover.
Epic. Got her, she's on.
Cables attached. It's time to winch the cab back onto its wheels.
Right. Let's give her a twist.
Obviously, a bigger vehicle needs a bigger pull, so you need a bigger pull, you need a bigger wagon. Sometimes you need more than one. So, just got to be aware and be careful.
In these extreme conditions, anything can happen. So winching the cab off its side has to be done with great care.
Nice, because the slope's working with us. Obviously, with the trailer, we brought it straight up to the carriageway. So with the banking, obviously, it's less distance to fall.
Jim and Fluff have righted the cab, but the job is far from over. The crew need to get the 8-ton wreckage ready for towing before taking it back to the depot. In Leicestershire, Gaffer Adam and his team have also been battling sub-zero temperatures to recover a toppled gritter.
At the moment, we're just trying to put a strap around it and get the road reopened for the authorities as quick as we possibly can.
After almost 2 hours on the job, they've successfully strapped up the 20-ton vehicle and are ready to pull it upright. Adam mucking in has given the team a boost.
Sometimes I like to show my face because, you know, like if you've got lads that are like slugging their guts out for you, and I think it's important that you don't get stuck into stuff like that. And I think I like to keep my hand in, really. You know, I don't tow many lorries these days, but like every time I go and tow one in, really, I think it keeps my hand in, you know, keeps me efficient. Probably does keep me happy, it clears my head. Clear my head, really.
With the gaffer at the controls, it's not long before the gritter is back on its wheels.
Now we've restrained it, we've stood it up. We can't put it down because it'll flip back over again. And then there's another resource, another truck on the way, and we'll pull the front across, pull it out, and then hopefully tow it away. So we're on the home straight.
With the gritter recovered from the icy ditch, the worst is over. The crew is a step closer to reopening the road, giving Adam a chance to head back to HQ.
We wanted to get the gritter out, damage through, well, you know, save as best as we could, because the end goal would be that that vehicle could go back to a workshop and be remobilised and get it back out, gritting, you know, which keeps us all safe. I'm glad it's done now because we can go back to the office and partake in the bedlam of the onslaught with a beast from the east. So we're back at it now and see what else is happening back at the base.
On the A1, Jim and Fluff have spent almost 2 hours recovering an overturned HGV. The trailer is safely on the hard shoulder and the cab back on its feet. Before reopening the stretch of the road, all Jim and Fluff have left to do is tow the cab away. Jim starts to attach the underlift to the wreckage.
Pick the unit up from the back now so we can tow it away. So just watch yourself because I'll be moving over.
But there's a problem.
To pull it out and push the head the other way. There's this great big lump of clay here. Ooh.
A block of frozen clay is stuck to the undercarriage, making a simple job almost impossible.
There's a lot of shit under it.
Clay, yeah, the clay. Yeah, a little bit of soil, think, oh, just knock that out of the way. Nah, it's that cold, it was frozen solid, frozen to everything. It was frozen all over the back of the anti-roll bar, which is what I wanted to lift it by. So yeah, that caused me a little bit of grief. Just sometimes nature can be a bit of a pain.
Jim and Fluff have no choice but to pull the frozen clay away by hand.
It's frozen solid, absolutely. Frozen solid. Just makes everything difficult. Look at that. It's literally because of all the frozen mud, it's just everything's in the way, and obviously I'm trying not to put the front of my wagon into lane 1. So we're just manipulating it a little bit, shall we say. That's it, I've got her, she's on. Epic.
With the mud gone, the underlift is attached ready for towing, and the job is nearly done.
Nearly there, mates, nearly grease.
Before towing it away, the crew need to straighten the cab's wheels to stop it swerving into traffic. But they need the driver's keys.
We was desperate to get the keys for the vehicle because if the steering lock was on and the steering was at an angle, it just makes it a lot more awkward and we'd have to end up lifting it and put it onto a low loader.
He's left me the keys.
It definitely makes life a little bit easier to have the keys.
With the keys found, the crew needs to quickly get into the cab and turn the wheels. And they're in for a surprise.
Whoa! Well, everything he's had stored under the bunk, because obviously some come adrift. As soon as the wagon's gone on its side, anything that's inside a lock has come out.
Jim finds an interesting item in the driver's cab.
Oh, fantastic. Oh.
We've found all sorts of things across the years of stockings, high heels in men's cabs that aren't for ladies, toys of various sexual denominations. If you can imagine it, we've probably found it over the years.
Go, draw it forward, but I'll square it up.
With the driver's seat clear of debris, Jim starts to straighten the cab's wheels.
Fucking hell.
But with the power steering shot, Jim's turning 8 tons of metal around by sheer brute force.
Happy days. Yeah, because the engine doesn't run. We won't turn the key to start the engine because she's been upside down. Because she's been upside down, all the oil out of the sump will quite simply roll into the top of the engine, into the bores. There's a chance if we start the engine up, we'll destroy it. So at this stage, we won't start it.
Once the vehicle's been on its side, all the oil that sits in the sump generally tends to run through the bore, so it can sit on top of the pistons. So if you turn the key of an engine, it could damage a piston, or it could pick up on the oil, run away with itself and blow itself to pieces. So once the vehicle's been over, you're thinking along the lines of whether or not the company's going to be able to salvage the vehicle, and then obviously it belongs to the insurance company and they're going to need to get some of the money back from it.
That's that. She's on, she's gone. We're going to clear the carriageway. When we clear the carriageway, always will strip the cones off.
Specialist recovery teams are vital to the work that we do. I'm always in awe when these guys and girls turn up. They seem to know just how to get the vehicle righted as quickly as possible. They are the experts in what they do.
After a difficult 2 hours working in sub-zero temperatures, it's job done for Jim and Fluff.
I've been doing it 17 years, and I can honestly say I can't remember a time when I felt that cold. Normally, by the time you get to the end of a good winching job like that, you are sweating. I was still cold at the end of the job. It was that cold. So, God knows what the wind chill factor was, but it's got to have been about -20.
In Leicester, recovery op Rory is at the scene of an overturned Renault Clio. He's finally secured all 4 wheels with the straps attached to chains which pass underneath the car. The chains are connected to a crane on Rory's truck, which he hopes will lift the car out of the thicket.
With a bit of luck, what we're going to try and do is flip her upright and get her on the truck all in one go, like a roll and then a lift. Usually it works, but pride comes before a fall, but we'll give it a go, see how we get on. Put a strap in each wheel, and then the straps on this side passed under the car, so as you lift, it's actually turning the car.
Having successfully flipped the car, Rory uses the crane to winch the vehicle onto the recovery truck. And it's almost a clean sweep. But then the rescue comes to an abrupt halt. A stray branch is caught in the wheels, and it's threatening to throw the car off balance. If Rory doesn't act fast, it could swing into his truck.
Absolutely bloody useless.
Coming up, Rory tells it how it is.
I think she's right off me, Doc.
And Adam's chuffed with his team.
That tested us, and our guys on the road, and they dug deep for me, and we got through it.
It's been a busy day for the heavy-duty recovery ops. The beast from the east has caused carnage on Britain's roads. Teams have successfully dealt with an overturned HGV and a capsized gritter. And while it's been a tough day, it's not over for heavy recovery op Rory. He's in Leicester on a slightly lighter job than usual. He's left his heavyweight winch truck, unofficially known in the business as a wrecker. And today, he's using a 10-metre long truck capable of lifting 16 tons.
Normally I'm out in a wrecker. Today I'm out in this, and I've got something a bit different. You know, they say variety's the spice of life, don't they? It just keeps you interested.
The driver had come off the road at a bend during a snowstorm and landed his car on its roof. He escaped unscathed, but the vehicle wasn't so lucky.
Look at the mess that's in. Lucky guy.
Rory's managed to flip the Renault Clio, but it's now got caught on a stray branch whilst being hoisted from the thicket, and it's in danger of toppling at any time.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pull this piece of wood out, then hopefully it'll go straight on then. That would have just took it off level.
Free of the branch, the car can now be lifted smoothly onto the flatbed.
If it's on its roof, it takes a bit longer because it takes a bit more rigging. Half an hour maybe, something like that. I say it's took a bit longer just getting through all them thorns.
After 30 minutes hard graft, Rory finally has the car on board.
Put the handbrake on, put it in gear, it can't roll then, and take the straps off. That's a good thing with these alley wheels, can lift them, put the strap through, perfect. Makes a lovely safe lift. Steel wheels, not quite so good.
Rory's chuffed.
I love that, when you pick it up and roll it all in one, and it just works like that, that's absolutely perfect. Can't get better than that. That's how it should be done. I'm pleased with myself, you know. It did lift nice, I was well pleased with that lift. I think it looks good, you know, when you lift something up, and as you're lifting, it turns, comes back over onto its wheels, and then lifts straight up. That's a good lift. I was well pleased with that.
A job well done reminds Rory of why he got into the business.
Before I worked for Crouches, I see Dave Crouch doing a job like this on the side of the road. I was in the queue of traffic, and the whole time he did it, he was whistling. And I thought, well, there's a bloke who's on top of his job, you know.
While it's been a good day for Rory, He can't say the same for the recovered Renault Clio.
He's knackered, mate. I think she's right off me, dog. It was pretty obvious right from the word go that it was going to be a scrapper.
All that's left to do is secure the car to the truck.
Just an ordinary strap, but just that choker there, if you see there, like the strap's gone behind the wheel. See that now, look, that one's holding it from going backwards, that one's holding it from going forwards, and they're both holding it down.
Rory makes the area safe.
Just remember to put my cones away.
And heads off to take the car back to the owner's address.
I don't think he's going to want that back, is he? I don't know whose car it is. I've got an address to take it to in Lutterworth.
After working in sub-zero temperatures, Rory's thinking about how to warm up.
Gloucester Services do the most fantastic wild boar sausage rolls. My mouth's watering now thinking about sausage sandwiches. Really lovely.
But first, he has to get the owner's car back on the driveway, which isn't going to be easy in a 10-metre-long vehicle.
These modern estates, they ain't made for trucks. They have the bin wagon once a week, and that's about it, you know. That's tight. Look at the mess I've made. I've just had to run up the grass there a little bit to get in, which probably ain't going to sit well with the residents, but we'll see if we can tidy it up a bit before we go. You think the problem's solved once you've picked it up, but you're still just thinking all the while, am I going to make a mess here? Am I going to scuff the nice new tarmac? All that sort of thing.
Having secured the truck in position,
there's half a tree in here.
Rory releases the handbrake.
I'm just going to roll her off with a bit of luck. Mission accomplished.
But ever the perfectionist, Rory's not happy until he's put everything back as it should be.
We're not going to make it perfect, but hopefully they won't think we're a total bunch of idiots.
After a bit of amateur gardening, it's been a stellar day for Rory.
Everyone you go to is in a tangle, and it's nice when you can untangle them. It's nice when you get home and you feel like you've done something worthwhile. That's the sort of job satisfaction you get. You feel like you've helped out.
Back at the depot, Rory needs to prep his truck for the next shift.
So all the kit's all right, lockers are tidy. If you make sure when you put stuff away, you know where it is, you know it's all there, then the next time I come for it, I'm not scratching around going, oh, where's my chain, where's my shackle? No, it's got to go back properly.
The job isn't done until the recovery vehicle is refueled.
There you go, that's 83 litres we put in there. These should be like a fire engine. You should be able to come in the yard, jump in it and just go. Not have to worry about whether it's got any diesel in it or whether all the kit's on. That's it, mate.
Job done. Rory can officially clock off and go home.
I'll hopefully be home in time for Sunday dinner.
The weather has made this one of the most challenging days Adam and his team have ever faced.
We didn't expect that at all. That tested us. And our guys on the road, and they dug deep for me, and we got through it.
But while the day shift might be over, the work never ends for this 24/7 operation. Next time.
Right, up again.
A stricken heavy loader.
Single, pay it out, come down.
Gives Adam and his team a lorry load of trouble.
Just hang on a sec.
Jim prepares for the worst.
I mean, there's nothing to say that the road hasn't been away underneath, you know.
And when more snow unexpectedly hits,
I'll get that stuck.
Mark has to think on his feet.
Because that's not coming down here.